Share. Hey everybody, it's me, Mama D. Time for a conversation with friends, and my friend today is, oops, wait a minute, Luke Walker. Excuse me, Big
I'm
Luke
over here.
Walker.
We could like hand each other stuff.
I think
It's
it's okay.
weird.
Shit, wait a minute, I gotta go the other way though, because right now that way is my window, but you're on that side of me on my computer,
Yeah,
so I was
it's
like,
it's all
it's
backwards, but we're gonna live through it.
yes, I think so. If we don't, well,
Yeah.
I'll just come back and haunt a lot of fun people.
Hey, that's what I always figured. If I ever come back and haunt somebody, I'm gonna make it weird. I'm not gonna do it the regular way and just rattle some chains and close some
Mm-mm.
doors. I'm like share their browser history with people or something. Just
Certain people keep talking about Pornhub, so let's see if they actually have it on their computers.
yeah, exactly. See, we can out a bunch of people and just be
Dance
miserable.
challenge. Oh, I would never be miserable. I would have so much fun doing it. Hey,
Oh
Haggis,
yeah.
how you doing? We
So you
have a lovely young lady in YouTube, and she is called Haggis Hunter. In the beginning, I thought she was a guy, and I apologize because last time I figured it out because she told when you get new people, it's confusing.
Yeah, it's and is it like my heterosexual life mate Funkmaster V Vinny Vineyard just signed up to Instagram, and he figured out what I figured out long ago on Instagram is you don't know who anybody is
Nope.
because nobody has their name in there. It's all just like who is Flower Butt? I don't know anybody named Flower Butt. This is
Yeah, I know. It's funny. Oh, my husband, he signed up for. He doesn't sign up for Instagram. He signed up for Snapchat because
ugh.
our kids do Snap. No, our kids do Snapchat, and that's how I get pictures of my grandbaby.
Huh.
And my youngest son has a name on there, which my husband is like, "What the hell is that shit doing?" No, it's not yours. It's his. Don't worry.
Yeah, my like whenever Snapchat first came out, my brother calls me up and he says, "You got to sign up for this thing," and I signed up for it and I was like, "I don't get it. I don't understand." He goes, "Oh, you said you can send pictures and they disappear." I was like, "Well, what's the point of that?" He says, "Oh, if you send naked pictures," and I'm like, "For one, I'm not the guy that sends naked pictures. For two, you're my brother."
Don't send me no naked pictures, bro. Seriously.
So that all got so. I played around on that for like just 5 minutes and then I haven't gone back to that. That just seems that's I'm too old for stuff like that.
I think for me, I just use it as fun. I will go every so often. I'll do a Facebook thing where I'll go, ooh, Snapchat filters and try a bunch of different things. Some are fun, some are not. But basically, it's just I signed up because my kids were there.
I get you. I get you.
Mom's got to stalk them somehow.
Yeah, you got to keep up with the kids. I don't know. My daughter's on something different all the time. She's 15. I don't even know the words that she uses for half of her social media stuff. And I want to be a good dad and keep up with it and keep up with what she's doing. But
Never. At least I'm lucky. My youngest is now in his 20s, so I'm like, no more children at home. Yeehaw! They're far away, but not that far. They could actually drive to see me, except for hello Corona.
yeah.
And but you know what? I watch what they do, and some of them I kind of go, why did you? What? There you go. Okay, that's when the mom goes away, and Darlene goes, who the hell?
Well, see, I've got a 15-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son, and I am dreading them leaving the house. I don't want them. I want them to hit 18 and then reverse in age because I can't do it.
I didn't think I could. I have three, and my daughter moved out when she was 18, and she went to move out to go to school for a good reason. There you go. And I cried, but not in front of her, but I cried. And then my middle son moved out west, and I cried. My baby son moved when he was, 20 something? No, I can't remember. But he wanted to move because I live in a small town, so he wanted to get a job that didn't have everybody knowing who his mother was,
There you go.
And so he moved out with his brother and got him a job in construction.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
they're good boys. They behave ish, They take after their mother. They have to behave not.
Well, good.
Okay, well, enough chit chat about My children. First off, let's see. I have to take notes, otherwise I'm kind of sort of useless. But
Otherwise,
even notes will probably go out the window anyway.
yeah.
After
Otherwise, you'll forget who I am, and I can't even
Oh no,
describe me.
I cannot forget who you are. You are the man who sings in the bathtub.
I am,
Who's got
for some reason, with nothing purple in this room, I am purple.
It's
I don't know
because
what's
it's my
going
favorite
on
color.
here. Yeah, I've got a blue light and a green light. Does blue and green make purple? No, it makes brown. Doesn't it? I don't
Could
know.
make purple. Who knows? But could also be that you're on the purple side of my background.
Oh yeah, hey, maybe
Never know.
maybe if I go on, get on your side with you. Hold on.
Yeah. No. No, didn't work. I torture my guests by making them all purple. Okay, so let's get down to business here. You're an ex-cop,
Yes.
still a pro wrestler.
Occasionally. Yeah.
But it's still every so often you do. I saw something on Facebook that you'll be doing it like next weekend.
Saturday. Yeah. It's Tennessee's really eased its restrictions on gatherings and everything. So we've been doing a lot of, and also there's a loophole for charity events, and we pro wrestlers love charity events. We don't get paid for them, but we love, and that's one thing, crazy. Everybody thinks about, pro wrestlers. I'm the 6'8", 250-pound giant, and you see me with the long hair, and I might scare some people, but most wrestlers have hearts of gold, and we love our charity events. We're doing one Saturday for this boy Devin, who has got cancer. He's lived with cancer almost his whole life, and he's just a young man. So we're going to do that and have a good time at a bar, but it's outdoors.
Wow.
Like 200 people will be there, and
That's for a good cause. What the heck? Everybody just wear their masks and be done with it. I can see you with a mask. It just wouldn't work. It's scary.
I wear a bandana. I don't wear the mask. The masks actually don't fit my big old head.
I'm not saying a word. Okay, so
I need to get the
wrestler,
Magnum mask.
There you go. But you need. I've been watching people going. They're complaining about the masks because they're all too, especially for the guys, too girly or too calm and tame. They're putting some out there that are like from ghost shows and horror movies and stuff like that. And some guys had a mask. I think it was a stormtrooper or something from.
Yeah, I ordered a baklava, and it's got the original Mjolnir, not the Marvel. Hold on, not. Oh jeez, hold on. Not. Sorry, I'm really ruining this whole thing.
That's okay.
Not this Mjolnir. It's
that's the toolkit, right?
Yeah, that's the Thor's hammer from the Marvel, but I ordered one with the Celtic or the Norse Thor's hammer on it, and it's nobody's gonna know what that is, but I'm a nerd, so I can do it. I can wear that with pride.
Okay, but that Thor's hammer, is that the toolkit that they had out there?
No, that one's a cosplay recreation. It wasn't cheap. I wasted a lot of money on it, but I love it.
Hey, as long as you're happy with it, I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with a lot of toys, so as an adult,
you created your own. So you grow up and you find your toys now. You can create your own toys. Because no one's going to tell you not to use the hammer and the drill and the saw.
No, not at all.
Well, actually, the missus might, but I'm not sure if she's going to kick your butt or you're just going to go, yeah, and walk out and do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Okay. There you go. She's got.
Oh, I'm a cigarette smoker. I apologize.
That's okay. I'm an ex-cigarette smoker, and it doesn't bother me. And if it bothers anybody, so I'm the boss here.
I had no problem cutting out sugar, even though sugar withdrawals were it's a real thing. But cigarettes, I started smoking when I was 25 years old, like an idiot, and I just every time I try to quit, something ridiculous happens. I tried to quit once, and my apartment got robbed, and they stole about everything in my apartment except for a pack of cigarettes that was sitting, and it's just every time I try to quit, something terrible happens. So it's almost like I probably put that on myself, but it's just some kind of weird coincidence thing. But it's happened like 5 times where just the worst of things have happened when I've tried to quit smoking.
So that means like you're not supposed to. And you know what? As bad as it is, and I, like I said, I'm an ex-smoker, but I'm not the type of kind of person that goes when someone smokes around, you go,
Well, I
certain
used to
cigarettes
be.
do get that way? No. Mm-mm.
I used to be one of those violent anti-smokers. I used to just, I would, people would
No.
smoke around me, and you're gross, disgusting. This isn't the world. Isn't
That's
your
because you still
ashtray?
wanted it. That's because you still wanted the cigarette. Okay, pro wrestler to paranormal investigator. Where did those?
I will tell you. I know I've done plenty of podcasts. We started doing podcasts about 7 years ago,
Mhm.
and but I've been on a lot of podcasts too. And if the paranormal podcast, they always have that one exact same question: how did you get started in the paranormal field?
It's all Vinny's fault, isn't it?
No,
Okay.
actually, pro wrestler into paranormal investigators, was different timelines of my life.
Okay.
I started pro wrestling in 1994, but I didn't even know what a paranormal investigator was at that time, except for watching Ghostbusters. But I didn't have the luxury or opportunity to never believe in ghosts,
Okay.
because when like. When I was 6, we lived in this huge house in Downers Grove, Illinois, and my mom was telling me a ghost story about the house, and then we moved to another. The ghost apparently got to her so bad in that house that we moved to another house. When something happened, she left the house with a broken leg and never went back in it.
Oh.
And so we went to another house, and as soon as I walked in, I mean, I was 6, 7 years old. I knew something was wrong, but I never, when you're 6, 7 years old, you believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
You're not sitting there going, well, metaphysically and scientifically, it could just be but I was we were there for a couple weeks, and I was walking up to the house from the backyard, and I knew there was a ghost in the house. I knew there was one on the second floor in my room, and I was like, okay, so. I just had the feeling, the haunches, and then probably a few years later, we moved to another, or we were searching for houses, and we go out, and me and my mom, and my brother are looking at these different houses, and we walk into one in Bolingbrook, Illinois, and all three of us walk in and go, nope, and walk back out because it just had, So I've never had the luxury of not believing in ghosts, because I've always known there was ghosts. I always known there was. I don't know exactly what they are. I don't know, how to scientifically or spiritually or religiously explain them, but I know that what we perceive as ghosts exist. So, fast forward to 2003, and I became a police officer, and I had to give up pro wrestling except for charity events. So I wasn't a pro wrestler when I became a paranormal investigator. Me and a guy I worked with, Pruitt, we both were talking about paranormal stuff, and then we started noticing, on the job, different things that were kind of unexplainable. Different paranormal type things were, at different calls and everything. So we decided we were going to start a team called SMART Paranormal, the Smoky Mountain Area Research Team of the Paranormal. I know it's a mouthful.
Wow. Okay, SMART.
But,
there we go.
Yeah, but that was about 2007, and I'm in Gatlinburg, Tennessee now. We moved away from Chicago, but so we started paranormal investigations. But a couple years later, I left the police department, and I met Funk Master V almost immediately, and we started doing a TV show called Great American Wrestling for Fox. We produced it, we filmed it, and edited it and everything, and wrote it, and we did really good with it, but nobody got us because we're stupid. We're ridiculous human beings. I mean, Funk Master V, Big Luke, we're ridiculous humans. We know this, but people that get us, and so we decided we were going to do our own thing, and he kind of was interested in the paranormal stuff, and we met this dork that kind of brought it all together, and he was supposed to teach us how to ghost hunt, and we went out and we knew more than he did, just right off the bat. Now I will say that yes, I did watch the ghost shows, Ghost Hunters was, a good show, stuff like that. But we did it, for our curiosity, but we're also, people say, well, you guys are just TV guys. You just are trying to get on TV. It could be further from the truth, but it's also 100% the truth. We weren't trying to get on TV with Paranormal Investigation. We had already been on TV.
Yeah.
We were just trying to continue the momentum in a field that interested us. And if we're going to go Paranormal Investigation and make a TV show, those are two of my favorite things in the world. Combine them together, awesome. So Wrestling with Ghosts was born, where pro wrestlers, ghost hunters.
Ghost hunters.
And we got a lot of network attention. We were signed to quite a few different network deals that all fell through because they didn't want funny, and if you take the funny out of us, that's not
possible.
It ruins our style, because our technique of paranormal investigation, we call the charge, is based off of positive human energy. Everybody's interested in the scares and the cryptic side of paranormal. We figure, hey, there's a lot of people that die that aren't evil.
Yep.
Why don't we talk to them? So we try to do that, and we get great results from it. So if you take that aspect out of us, then we're just, a couple of dorks wandering around in empty buildings with green lights on.
But it's not possible, because I have watched you guys, and I think you're hysterical. And I think because I've never paranormal investigated. I know that when I do, it will have to be with Paranormal Mysteries team, because God help me, I'm going to say it out loud, I trust Jay Lynch. I don't trust to do everything he says, but I trust that he'll have my back.
We have investigated, actually, just to throw the plug in, July 15th, the release of the episode of Hales Bar Dam is going to be on Asai TV. That's going to be on Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV and the internet. Use the promo code FUNKY when you subscribe. That's going to be releasing on the 15th, and I will tell you that we've investigated with a lot of people, and Jay Lynch, Teresa Lynch, and those the Paranormal Mysteries teams. Yeah, Paranormal Mysteries is the best paranormal team I've ever seen. Not just because of their theories, but because of their safety, because of their common sense, and because they're just pros. They know. I mean, they're such a well-oiled machine, and they're skeptical of themselves, which is something I love. Yeah. If 3 people believe something happened, 2 people will go, let's look at something else, and then all 5 people are going, well, maybe that's, they challenge themselves, and there's nothing. Yeah. There's nothing I find more important to a paranormal investigator, especially a team, is to be skeptical of yourself.
Yeah, and they invite the challenge. They invite people to, and I know they because I also follow them too. They put on their videos when they're out there, if you have a comment, if you think you understand what that sound is, if they didn't get it, put it in there, write it in the comments. So yeah,
and
you guys.
And we do something a little different than they do. Is what we do is we're on. Said that Hales Bar Dam is the end of season 2, and we're also releasing the premiere of season 3 the same day. We've been holding on to this episode for 6 months for this Asai TV to take off, but we will present evidence and say, and we don't say this is what it, this is 100% what it is. We want you. We leave it up to you. If you if we hear something, we'll say that's what we think it says, but what do you think it says?
Yeah, exactly. You leave the audience, the people who are watching, a chance to come up with what they believe it is. Haggis Hunter says, I agree with you, Luke. I can't stand it on TV shows who antagonize the ghosts. It's so sad that they are only human souls. There is no need for aggression on some of the shows towards spirit.
Well, I'll speak on that if you allow me, because I love to talk.
Go for it.
One of our major theories is with the positive energy, the charge that we do. If you as a human being are sitting alone in a house and a group of people come in and sit in your living room and start yelling threats and come at me, bro, and all this stuff, are you going to go hang out with those people or are you going to leave? Now, if they're a bunch of people come in your living room and they seem cool, they're having a good time, they're inviting you in, you're probably going to go in. So but TV doesn't want that. Every station we talk to, I'm talking from Netflix to HBO to A&E to, channels that don't have paranormal were talking to us. A&E talked to us, and we're going to sign a deal with them. But then as soon as the producer, the program director wanted us to do paranormal investigation, but I guarantee this is what happened. He didn't sell us exactly this, but I guarantee this is what happened. He goes, "Oh well, nobody knows who these guys are. Go out and get somebody we know." Next thing we know, we're red lit, and Grant Wilson has signed. So, but Grant's a good guy. I wouldn't take it from him, but he has the system down where it's all very technical and very, and I hate to say this, very boring. And his show is a snore fest, and I don't understand how that's why they wanted that. But why would you want funny teams? But I like the other guys' show. I've watched it once or twice with I really like Steve Gonsalves. I think he's a great guy, and Dave Tango. They have fun with their investigations, and I think people like to see that and would want to see other people doing that. But no, they want the demon chair hunter of death, doom, and destruction. Portals to hell.
Because I think the reason is because people don't realize that there is better out there. So it's getting through with Facebook and with you guys on ASI, Aside Paranormal, and on YouTube. It's getting out there, so more people are going to understand it. So you know what, you guys are making your own shows now.
Well, and that's what we've always preferred to do is I've been an independent musician my whole life, an independent wrestler, independent songwriter, an independent we make skits and we've always made skits and little comedy bits and I don't want somebody telling me you can't wear those shoes. You can't, you can't have that hat on. You can't say that word. You can't say this. You can't do. I don't want that. We want to do things our way. We'll censor ourselves. We were actually, when we were talking about censoring, we were like, we should, we wanted to do it raw and keep in swear words and keep in farts, because everybody farts on Paranormal Investigations.
Everybody does.
And we have kept in a few farts, but
we don't have smell-o-vision yet, so we're good. No. Go for it. Fart.
But we did an episode or two, and we kept the swears in before we released them. And then Vinny's like, you know what? I think I'm going to beep them, and it's so much funnier to beep it out. It's beeps are hilarious, so I'm all for beeping stuff out. So we didn't want to censor ourselves or hide anything, but beeping is definitely the beep. I love
because
that
also makes people's imaginations work harder as to whether you dropping F-bomb or the S-bomb or they kind of figure it out. But yeah, you can see the beep because you're not cutting anything out. You're just putting a flower over a fart. It doesn't always work, but it works.
It doesn't. But sometimes sometimes in two different occasions on our show, a fart has led to activity. You've heard laughs. You've heard something laugh, or you've heard something move around right afterwards. You got to keep the fart in. This episode of Hales Bar Dam is hilarious because Vinny goes off to take a whiz. He's got to pee, and I'm sitting there at a table and playing with these things. They're the ankle game. It's a Turkish game. It's they're goat ankle bones, and you roll them. Okay. And I'm sitting there playing with that. I have no idea what I'm doing. But Vinny goes off and he's in a room taking a leak, and apparently he comes out and he goes, "Dude, I was peeing in this thing and something growled at me." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I was peeing down this drain and something growled at me from the corner." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna go pee in the room now." So this is on the show. I mean, why would we hide that? We got great paranormal evidence that you can hear the growls plain as day, while we're also peeing down a tube. It's that's real.
That's true. Air Haggis Hunter says, "Wow, that's so funny. Everyone mostly finds toilet humor very funny." It's true.
Well, but again, paranormal and funny, entertainment wise, don't normally go together. But I think everybody that's gone on, every real paranormal investigator, and you know me, I'm a butt nut, and I've got all sorts of opinions. But I think real paranormal investigators, people that go to houses instead of I went to Waverly once. I'm a ghost hunter. Um, I think real paranormal investigators realize that there's a lot of laughs, there's a lot of funny things that happen on investigations, and those are things the world also needs to know. So we don't have
Yeah.
people come with us that are all, come at me bros in tight black t-shirts and that kind of mess.
Well, I had no worries about that because I don't own a black T-shirt, tight or otherwise. But I think in the beginning, before I knew anything about anybody doing paranormal investigations, all I knew was like the TV shows, and that was just kind of like, and I couldn't get into it. I didn't find it that interesting. I mean, if you figured me out by now, I like to smile and laugh, and I enjoy the good times. So the icky, dark, dewy, gluey, it's not my style. But when I first saw Jay and his crew, Jay and Teresa and that crew there, I was killing myself laughing, to the point where one of the places that they investigated, the 101 Cafe, um, I connected to a spirit that was there with them, and I'd never done that before. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this is just perfect because it's good, it's humor, it's funny, it's serious but funny, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna watch them, and so they
Well,
just kind of sucked me in.
I will tell you where the idea that humor, we stumbled across it, that humor actually can provoke better than than anger and malice, is when I was in probably 2007, 2008, when I was with Smart Paranormal. It was just me and John. We got into an old church, and I'm walking through the church, and nothing's going on,
Mhm.
and I'm panning the camera around, and I turn real quick, and there's a picture of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ on the wall, and I go, "Oh Jesus!" and and that's the first time I caught paranormal evidence, because something went ha.
Cute, I like
And,
that.
yeah, and so then we started playing around with that. Is wait a minute, did a ghost just laugh?
Mhm.
So that's kind of where it all blossomed from there, and and also with us, um, we want to have fun with. If I'm not out having fun with my friends, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So if I'm out, if my best friends are my paranormal team, Travis, Vinny, and Candy Thompson, um, those are my best friends. And if we go to dinner, if we go to a wrestling show, if we go to the movies, if we go do anything, we're having a good time. Why would it be different on a ghost hunt?
Yeah, exactly. Um, Diane says, funny how people all pull in spirits unintentionally
Yeah,
for the
well,
first time. Yeah.
yeah, and it's after some of the things that happened on the road as a police officer, and stuff that happened to me as a kid. I mean, I knew there were spirits, but I starting to think there's a lot more than we think, and
Mhm.
we're just not tapping into them. We're not, because we're all going out there yelling at them instead of embracing them, instead of joking with them. If you're that's always been our theory. We flirt with the girls, we hang out with we joke with the guys, and we play with the kids, and that tends to get great results.
Exactly. And about a year ago when I restarted after a little summer break, one of my first guests was Jim, and that was the first person who spoke to me about being a cop and how it related to his paranormal investigation. You knew him as well. He
Yeah,
chose his way home a while back, but
yeah.
he explained to me how he's, and I was like, that kind of sort of makes sense. So now I can connect, being a cop and how it works into paranormal, how he
Well,
saw it connecting. So it, because some people don't sit there and realize, like, you are a normal guy outside of paranormal investigating and singing in the bathtub. You are a normal guy. So how would how do you put the two? Where do they intersect? Where do they
yeah.
connect? So that's what I like to find out, is where the intersection. Because I never saw a ghost in my entire life or heard a ghost that I know of. I've heard voices, but I can't be sure because it was in a busy place. But it didn't fit. So I was like, okay, there's something there, but to watch the connection, like I said, when Jim told me how we connected to him, and you, I didn't know that you saw, spirit from when you were a child. I didn't know that you lived in a haunted house.
Well, and there's I mean a lot of other things with law enforcement that I can get into. Like there was calls where I'm giving somebody CPR, and when they die.
Yeah.
And you feel like one guy, I won't bring his name up, but he was a very loved man. We were there for a hospice call. Me and another officer standing in another room with the hospice nurse, and all three of us just felt love, and we knew he had passed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is a paranormal experience. Another time, me and that exact same officer was giving somebody CPR in a hotel room, and the lights, they didn't go dim, they encroached. The lights, it started getting dark in the corners of the room, and it started feeling terrible. And then all of a sudden, it snapped, and the whole room just went white again. We're like, oh, we should just stop giving him CPR. This guy's gone somewhere bad. And the first time I actually 100% saw a ghost was Christmas morning, I think 2008. About 9 o'clock in the morning, I was up at the Greenbrier restaurant. It was closed, and I was hanging out because cops don't do anything on Christmas Day. If they just handle calls, everything else. But I'm just hanging out there, and I look at the restaurant, and there's a woman standing on the patio. It's a glassed-in patio where they have dining. And I was like, what's she doing here? It's a day off. And then I look closer, and she was standing in the table.
Okay.
And so I reached for my phone to take a picture. It's like an old BlackBerry Storm, I think was the phone. And I reached for a phone to take a picture, look up, she's gone. And we ended up, our first episode of Wrestling with Ghosts investigates that restaurant. So, and if anybody comes to Gatlinburg, go to the Greenbrier restaurant. It's hard to find. It's an awesome place. And Lydia Lawson, the ghost there, and my friend David, who's also now a haunt there, they're great spirits. You're going to want to hang out with them. Lydia will you'll be dancing with Lydia. Next thing, we were up there, and all of a sudden we start like ballroom dancing, and we realized that Lydia's dancing with us. It was crazy.
Nice.
And
that
we did find all the death records.
Paranormal?
That one will be on Asai Paranormal. Everything's Asai Paranormal is going to die on the 14th, and it's going to be Asai TV, ASY TV. We're merging all of it together into Asai TV on Roku and Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV.
Of course, all the ones that I don't have, right? You couldn't have put it on Netflix or Disney Plus.
It'll be on the internet. Oh no, Netflix now does not like me and Vinny. So
how rude.
Yeah, we ruined that relationship, but hey, we got to stick to principles over opportunity sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's the way it works. Okay, we got a couple of things in the chat room.
Fantastic.
Okay, from Scott Stevenson, the whole of the spiritual scene is too buttoned up and run by organizations / people who have a face like a cat's butt with lemon slices up.
Well, and what's even worse is television paranormal. I've met all the program directors, all the producers. They have no idea of what paranormal investigation is. That's what's even worse, is what you're presented on TV. You're being presented it. A team might know what they're doing, but the people producing the show, editing the show, scripting the show, no clue what they're doing. And I find me and my team, who we ditched the name. We don't have a team name. We're the team that makes Wrestling with Ghosts. We kind of float on the outskirts. The independents. We don't really, we have a few other teams that we get along with, but we kind of float on the outside because we don't want to be influenced by other people's, telling us we got to do this way, we got to do that way. Well, that's just not us. We prefer to stay on the fringes. Also, there's a bunch of creeps floating around the paranormal field. I noticed. this girl, Sarah Chelton, made a post a couple weeks ago. She goes, "How come it seems that everybody I'm deleting off of my Facebook page for racism is in the paranormal field?" And then I started realizing the exact same thing. I was like, "Yeah, we gotta straighten that out, or because I can't be associated with that stuff, man. That's
Yeah,
I've got kids to raise. I've got a life to live. I can't be associated with people that are saying just awful stuff." I was like, "Stop it."
I had posted something on my Facebook wall, and it was in support of the cops. And this woman posted, "Oh, so you like rapists and murderers and yada yada yada?" And you're a racist. I said, "Excuse me, you talking? Do you even know who I am?" And it was like, and I just sort of left her. I didn't delete her conversation because I believe that everybody has the right to their opinions, right, wrong, or otherwise. They have the right. If it gets too stupid, yes, then you'll go. But it never got too bad. But my co-host on Thursday's show, Gina Bankston, she's a paranormal investigator, and when she spoke up, the woman called her a charlatan and said, "Oh, you're a fake. You're just trying to take people's money because you're a paranormal investigator, and that's a bunch of BS."
Oh yeah, I got to tell you, we make a lot of money investigating ghosts.
Exactly.
It's plentiful.
Yes.
But I will tell you, I am all for everybody having an opinion. I love dissenting viewpoints. I also have the right to not listen to your opinion. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I didn't say anything else along her conversation, but I just noticed when she dissed on Gina and the paranormal investigation that she does, I went back to her Facebook page, and there were like a lot of paranormal investigators on her page. So she was dissing her friends. So like,
people are weird, and like I said, I rub people the wrong way. I'm opinionated. I tend to be more on the liberal side of things socially, and I annoy people with that. But I always try to look at things with common sense. And if somebody's saying racist stuff using the N word, I don't have anything in common with that person, and I don't want to hear their opinion. You know, that's just not who I am.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, for me, my husband is an American from Philly, and he's black, by the way. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yes, I know. But I married the man. I didn't marry the color, and I have beautiful biracial children. And so when she was calling me a racist, I mean, all my friends are like, "Are you serious? Do you know?" My daughter even chimed in, "Hello, could you like look at who you're friending and talking to before?" It's like, oh, okay. But the N word is not something like, and I know that black people, colored people, whatever you want to call them, use it to themselves, but that's, my husband despises that word.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, so it's not, but it's, everybody's different, because I know the younger ones use it like, water sometimes, and it's like,
to me, it's a signal of low intelligence that if somebody uses it just because it's like, that's what
other words out there.
Yeah, there are more eloquent ways of speaking. Even if you need to insult somebody, you can do it much more eloquently than that. That's just low.
Do it in French. There's no N word in French, not that I know of. And if there is, they're probably just putting a French accent to it. But do it in French. You can cuss people out in French. Just keep a smile on your face, and they will not know what the hell you're saying.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
So we just to throw in more plugs, we are starting. As I said, we do a whole bunch of different stuff. The pro wrestling, the wrestling with ghosts. We have 3 other shows that TV or web series that we do. But we are filming a movie starting Sunday that I wrote based on Vinny's brother's experiences, also based on a couple local legends and things like that. But it is finally time. We are filming a feature-length movie. I got all the cameras, the lights. Again, you can tell I got some of the lights on. But that starts Sunday, and we are so excited to film this. It's going to be starring Funkmaster V and our new girl Candy, and me and Travis make appearances in it is small, but it's called The Hike, and it's it's more of a psychological thriller than horror. But by God, it's got some good stuff in it. I think everybody's going to dig it when we finally get to release it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, I troll you guys and check out your Facebook and your YouTube. So I'll be keeping an eye. And every time that you do an event and you want to advertise a little bit more, share, poke me with it and just say, hey, Mama D, check this out.
Share it.
There you go. Just share it. Just show it on the
Well,
page.
What we want to do with this movie is because Funk is, Funk Master V, but he is a very savvy businessman. He hasn't worked for anybody else besides himself in a decade. But he was, working on selling the movie different places. But I think we want to do more of like paranormal. If they're doing the Haunted Toledo thing, like I want to take the movie there and play it there and let people watch it and do a Q&A. I don't think I want it to sell it to Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything and just let people watch it when they want. I want to make events out of it. Because I mean, all the money that we're spending on this movie is not from investors; it's from us.
You guys.
And I would, once I spend money, I don't ever expect it to come back. So what I want to do is I want to just go share this with people. I want to, charge $3 admission to come sit and see our movie, and get a couple hundred people there, and go to different places all around America. That sounds like the dream, just traveling around touring a movie. That's what I want to do. I could care less if they buy it and put it in a theater or put it on a streaming service. That don't interest me.
But I think there was an event last year. I heard about, and they had streamed a movie that was recorded. I don't know who, if it was independent or whatever, and the creator of the movie was there. They were the ones who did it. They had it up on screen for everybody to watch that had gone to that event. I can't remember. I'm so good at this, right? I can't remember whose show it was, but it was a hit doing it that way. And it kind of makes sense. That's where you guys get together, where you have your fun. And this is where, like, for lack of a better word, your people are, who are paranormal investigators, who are interested in that spiritual side of it. And it's like, hello, it's Big Luke.
Yeah. And we're also much cooler live. We will tear up live Q&A events. We did some, it's like we're going to an hour-long stand-up comedy bit where we roast the crowd, roast each other, tell just outlandish stories. There's people that come just to see, Gatlinburg Convention Center is a really big place, and we did a convention last October for a guy. It was called Creatures and Lore or something like that, and it was us and Doogie from Tennessee Wraith Chasers, and Bobo was a Bigfoot hunter, I think it's Bobo, but a lot of people. But our Q&A session started with like 10 people in this big auditorium that set 500, and it filled up by the time we're done. People were just running out of there going, "You gotta come see these guys." And at the Toledo Fest, we thought we were going to get kicked out of there with Jay Lynch and Joe Quoto and Jason Arthur and all them. We thought they were going to boot us because Benny got raw, but people loved him, man. It was it was hilarious.
Jax in the chat room says they are pretty fantastic. Thanks, Jax. See?
Vinny accused some lady of shoplifting. It just got out of hand. It was.
Well, I think that it's not just raising the vibrations of spirit, but you guys have so much fun that even the humans enjoy being around you.
Well, we, first and foremost, I said I started playing music when I was 9. I started playing in front of crowds when I was 12. I started pro wrestling when I was 18. I'm an entertainer. I make no apologies for that. Funk is an entertainer. His dream is to do FM radio. Whose dream is to do FM radio? But I'm not going to make any apologies that I'm an entertainer. I love to get out and entertain people, make them feel better, make them laugh, make them forget about their problems.
Yeah, exactly. There's enough stuff out there right now that we don't need to add to it. We can add to it by making people laugh and smile, and this is really great. Okay, tell me why you sing in the bathtub.
Because it's funny.
Okay.
I was, bored during quarantine. My wife was working. She's a human resources director, so she had to direct humans and the resources. And my kids, if you give them time off, they will be awake all night and sleep all day. So I'm sitting home. I'm sitting home by pretty much by myself. Kids sleeping in their rooms on the other side of the house, and I'm like, I'm going to do something dumb. I'm just going to jam in the bathtub and see if people want to watch it. And by God, I mean,
we did.
I can't believe how many people watch those videos of me playing, Prince songs in my bathtub. And also the acoustics are great in my bathroom. I've got a huge bathroom. So.
Okay, so bathrooms are usually well known for their acoustics. Okay, my husband's a singer, so I get that. The guys would rehearse in the bathroom. It's like, dude, no, this sounds great. Okay, I learned. So yeah, understand that. But it was funny. The first time I saw you playing it, I was like, why is he in the bathtub?
Well, and that was a compromise because I was originally going to play while sitting on the toilet. So
okay, that I would have said would have been George Joplin move, but no.
What I did actually do that for my buddy Jason Marsden. He was the voice of Thackeray Binks. He was a child actor. He was Max Goof in the Goofy movies and stuff like that. But he has a variety show out of Nashville called the Mars Variety Show, and he was doing quarantine specials. And I did record a original song, a blues song about being out of toilet paper while sitting on the toilet. So it ended up, it did happen. So. Oh
gosh, I have to go find that. Everybody, if anybody can find that, let me know.
I think Jax has seen it.
Jax, have you seen this? We need to do a movie share or whatever it is that Facebook does.
Jax is my confidant. Jax is my filter. I send her stuff before I release it to make sure if she laughs, then it's funny.
Well, I'm sure that she laughs because, like I said, I've watched you and sometimes I have to stop. I have to go take a break and then come back and continue to watch because you're good. Y'all are funny, and it's like. When I asked you, I don't know how many times I bugged you about coming on my show, and you said yes, and I was like, she said yes. I'm saying, okay, that's it, not letting you go. There's no way.
Hey, anytime you want, I'm usually available. So
now, do you still have your show on Paramania Radio? I know you changed the name of it.
No. Oh. I got fired.
Did you piss off Dave?
No, I think I was completely unreliable. I've been prepping for this movie. I've been in pre-production on this movie for the last 2 months, and I kept missing I'd forget to send in my show notes. I'd forget to send in. I couldn't even record drops. I was unreliable. I deserved it. It was completely 100% my fault. So, but yeah. So what we started doing though is like this format. How you're doing this here is this is what we started doing this Wednesday again. We audio podcasts are dead. Nobody listens to audio only podcasts anymore. It's got to be video. So on Big N Funky Productions, Big N, the letter N, Funky Productions YouTube page, we did our first show Wednesday. It was me, Vinny, and Candy, and it was fun. We talked about a lot of but. I think the video is going to be the way to go. We were smart, and we were like, we're going to do this every Sunday at 6:00. We're going to do our show. And then we realized that our movie filming schedule for the next 6 weeks is on Sundays and Mondays. So we can't do the show. So it's going to be Wednesdays at 7:00 on our
because
channel.
Sundays I'd have to leave my show just to go to your show. And it's just like way too fast. So Wednesdays, okay.
We'd be at 7. We'd be at 7, so it wouldn't overlap. And that was one of the things we took into because I am a huge fan of everything LEP Productions. So like my favorite podcast that's not Joe Rogan is Jay Lynch is Stirring the Pot. And I love watching Tina and Tina. And I love all their shows. So and then your show I knew was on earlier on Sundays. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of consideration with people that I like and respect, and that we didn't put our shows on at the same time.
Oh, I would have figured out a way to get over to your show anyway, so it's not a big deal. Whoever my guest was, okay, but I gotta go. Love you, but there's guys.
Yeah. But when you do the audio only format, usually you get stuck into you have to do exactly an hour, and you have to do because you're uploading it to the audio places that only will let you put in certain amounts of times, and I really don't like watching or just listening to a podcast. I like watching them. You know, people are like, well, you know, you can just put your earphones in when you lift weights. Well, I've got, you know, my weight set is over there in this room. My TV is here. I just turn the PlayStation on to YouTube and I watch podcasts while I lift weights every morning.
There you go. You should make sure that you watch Thursday nights at 8:00. The Fox Den is where I co-host with Gina. So she's in the chat room, and if you notice over your head, there's a Fox Den because she coerced me into being her co-host.
Well, good. The more podcasts you can do, the better. The more you can get your voice out there and just talk and get to know people, the better. Now, I pointed over to the TV, and I feel bad because I just realized how culturally divergent and just devoid I am as a human being. Last night I watched Hamilton, and Hamilton was a masterpiece. It's on Disney Plus. I was in awe of the musical Hamilton. It was maybe one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And now I'm watching Warrior Nun.
Oh, I watched it.
This is how stupid I am as a human being. I went from Hamilton to Warrior Nun.
But I will be checking out Hamilton now. But I watched Warrior Nun. It was freaking awesome. I'm sorry.
Hamilton is so good and so fast paced, and the music and the singing and oddly enough the rapping. It's actually a very urban take on on Alexander Hamilton, but it is almost exhausting to watch because you're like, how are these actors? How are they doing this? How are they keeping going? How these guys must run 12 miles a day to keep that cardio up and their voices. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but King George is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. On that, everybody should definitely check Hamilton out on Disney Plus.
Okay, so I'm lucky I have Disney Plus, so I will be watching it. I don't think I have anything else tonight. No, actually, I think I do have a show later tonight. I can never get things straight. I need to actually have somebody remind me of who, what, when, where, and why. And I really dislike when people cancel the shows and forget to make notification of it on Facebook.
Well, so see, that's why I don't work for Paramania Radio anymore.
Well, I started my career on radio with Paramania Radio.
Yeah.
And I was spoiled because everybody said, "Oh, you've got the perfect voice for radio," and I'd be like, "What's wrong with the face? It doesn't work, you know." And I lasted, I think, Dave lasted, I think, about a year, maybe 2. I'm not sure. I can never remember. But I started back in 2015, and it was like it was fun, and I got addicted to it, and so here I am now.
And Dr. Dave, the producer there, the owner producer, he's a great guy.
Yes.
And, you know, me and him had a little bit in common here, really, because I've lost, in the last year, I've lost 100 pounds. In the last year, he's lost, or the last, I think, 2 years, he's lost like 250 pounds. And that's inspiring to me. Anybody that wants to, and anybody that can lose that much weight, good God.
Yeah, but that's true. You did say that you look good shirtless, and you're supposed to do my show.
I'm wearing a tank top. What are you gonna do?
Wearing a tank top. I'll take the points. We get to see the tats and stuff. But yeah, is there anything aside from creating your own movie that you haven't done so far that you guys want to do, either you and with the team or just you in general?
There's always going to be stuff that pops up that I want to do, and it's like I want to make a bigger movie. After this one wraps, and if it makes enough money to. I've got an idea that I can't release because I've got a very good friend of mine doing me a favor I gave him the idea and he's writing a script for this movie. I want to do that, but that's going to cost probably $100,000 to $150,000 to make. But I want to do it. There's we did have a goal of getting onto network television. You know, we had a show on Fox, but now that's not our goal. I don't want to do any of that. We want to do independent stuff, but what I really want to do is I want to do things that I've never done before is not the thing. I want to go out and meet people I've never met before. I want to go out and hang with people. I want to go, get to know everybody that, I know on Facebook. I just want to go out and entertain them and meet them as human beings, because just after the quarantine and everything, and then when quarantine ended, the worst. I live in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's a tourist town, and it flooded. We have more people in this town right now than we've ever had, and it's been like that since Memorial Day, and they're horrible. It's the worst of people. They are just terrible. I want to go out and meet. I just want to go out and have fun with people.
Yeah. But I understand what you mean by the people where I live. It's a small town, and we have some spots where people can go swimming in the rapids across the rocks, and it's out. It's a great place, and people come from all over. But this year, the people that have come from all over are nasty, sloppy, dirty. Stay away.
Well,
because if I don't stay away, my daughter will kick my ass.
Yeah, here it's just that people coming in are rude, and I understand if they don't want to go with the social distancing, they don't want to wear a mask. I understand that. Look, your freedom, your rights, whatever you got to do, but people are getting like violent about it. Like, they're getting mad, they're yelling at each other, and my favorite thing is when I walk through town. I'm away to my part-time job. I will walk through town and walk past just mobs of people, and in every little group, you hear somebody, why are there so many people here? I'm like, but you're people. You're here. Why would you ask why somebody else is here? Ask, why are you here? Yeah. You hear people complain, nobody's social distancing. You're not social distancing. I'm a positive, happy guy, and it's really tested my limits of positivity and happiness.
I did see you go off on something a while back. I call it a PSA. You gave your opinion, and I was so 100% behind it. It was about the cops and thing like that. What happened with and it was like, okay, this is nice. And that's where I found out you were an ex-cop. And I was like, okay, let's listen. And because you make sense.
Well, there's a misconception of where people don't understand that a lot of cops don't like, people act like cops wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to go oppress some black people today. But there's a few that do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, cops don't want to go out and write you a ticket.
Yeah.
They would. I was the cop that I would pull you over, and if you were going 25 over the limit, you got a ticket because you knew you were speeding.
Yeah.
But if you were going 15 over, I'd give you the option. I'm going to give you the ticket, or I'm going to give you the speech. I'm going to, and the speech, I said, and it's the truth is I've scraped people I know out of ditches. I've scraped people I don't know out of ditches. I don't want to scrape any more people out of ditches.
Yeah.
So slow down. I don't want you, I didn't want people to die. I wanted people to be safe. And most cops are like that. But there is a problem in law enforcement that's not so much to do with the cops. It's to do with the system that has, where cops are paid to enforce unjust laws, but they didn't write the laws.
Yeah.
They're just paid to enforce them. And you could say, oh, well, the Nazis were just following orders, but we're not. Their cops aren't Nazis.
Yeah, no.
Most cops are really good people. And again, some aren't. My parents were both cops. My brother's a cop. I was a cop.
I mean, the one that told you to get Snapchat.
Yeah, we
okay.
There's a lot of we all know people that suck and they shouldn't, but go to any job and there's people that suck.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Gina wants to know, what about the quotas?
Quotas are illegal, and there's not a single police department in America that will tell you that you have to go write a certain amount of tickets. And to get away from doing quotas, because they did do quotas in the 80s, I think they stopped it in the early 90s. And they to get away from that, instead of if I wrote a ticket in Gatlinburg, the fine money doesn't go to the city of Gatlinburg. it goes to the state for the general fund. So all fines go to the general fund of the state in every state. There's no such thing as quotas. Now, that being said, have I been told, Luke, you don't write enough tickets? Plenty of times. I wrote maybe in 11 years, 100. We had ticket books of 25, and I might have wrote 5 of those. So I might have wrote 125 tickets in 11 years. Because, hey, man, if you don't have insurance, the odds are it's not because you didn't want to have insurance. It's because you can't afford it. It's because you can't afford it. I can sympathize with that. But there's laws that are dumb too. Like, I mean, I have to take people to jail for driving on a suspended license because they couldn't afford to pay a ticket that they got that was a dumb ticket to begin with.
Yeah.
Why is somebody going to jail over a suspended driver's license? That's not a crime. That's a budget problem. You know, and I said a lot of these laws just are dumb. But so yeah, there's no quotas. That's a myth. That's something people like to say. But you know, the chief will tell you occasionally, Luke, you gotta write some more tickets. You gotta try to, you know. But me, I'm not gonna write tickets. I was out there walking around town, meeting people and giving them directions, and you know, telling stories. That was just me.
Yeah. Scott Stevenson says same in the UK, but if your amount of tickets drops, there's no quotas. But if you don't, it's like I said, unwritten. It's a rule without being written. It's just kind of like know it.
Well, and then there's some cops that will get into the kind of contests with other cops who could write more tickets and stuff like that. And that, to me, I complained about that. That was one of the things I complained about. And people will say all the time now, you see, well, it takes good cops standing up and to stop the bad cops. You're right, it does. And there's a reason Big Luke is not a cop anymore, because he stood up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
And that's the system. You put good old boys in charge of stuff, or you have cliques. And again, you look at it that in law enforcement, but it's at every job is the same. I've worked other jobs. Every job, look at law enforcement as your job, as everybody's job. There's those same people are at every job.
Oh yeah, and like you said, it's not like law enforcement. It's a job. It's people who do it, who really do it, care about what they're doing. Like you, that was something that you wanted to do. You wanted to be able to help people, and you have you got your idiots in that department. And then I'm a cashier at a convenience store, and everybody knows me. You don't pull no BS with me, but there are those who are idiots, and that's putting it nicely. But but it's you have that type of people everywhere. It's just that unfortunately right now they're seem to be coming out of the freaking woodwork.
Well, I wish people would understand when I said there's no way logically you can support defund the police, but you can 100% support restructure the laws. It's not the police, it's the laws that are the problem. There's a lot of unjust, unfair, and just plain stupid laws. Yeah. The fact that I could go to Illinois, buy a bag of marijuana. I don't smoke marijuana much. I could go to Illinois, buy a bag of marijuana, walk around with it, put it in my pocket, drive to Tennessee, and now I'm a criminal?
Okay.
How does that make sense?
Well, it's legal here. The only thing is drinking age in Quebec, where I live, is 18. But to buy pot, you have to be 21. I was like,
see, I any cop will tell you this, and this is a well-known fact. I would much rather people smoke all the marijuana they can smoke instead, and not drink.
Yeah, because all they do is stuff their faces and fall asleep.
Yeah,
it's not a diet drug.
They're not beating their spouses or wrecking cars, and driving drunk that's the thing that kind of annoyed me with the Atlanta case, where people kept saying, well, he was just passed out in a drive. The guy was just passed out in a drive-through, drunk. It's like, yeah, he was driving his car. You know how many people die from DUI accidents,
Yeah.
including the driver, that's a crime. You don't call a counselor for something like that. That's a potential, very high potential violent crime to drive drunk.
Mm.
That was one of my big things, man. I made so many DUI arrests. Because I could not stand, again, I've dealt with too many dead people
Right.
to want to see live people dead, and I've had way too many friends die of opioids. So if I found opioids, I would prosecute you to the full extent of the law.
Yeah.
But if I found marijuana, I'd probably throw it away. I would never.
Squirrels go crazy in the trees, but
yeah. But I said, to me, that was we called it selective enforcement, and I think that my version of selective enforcement was more rooted in common sense. Opioids kill people. I don't want my friends dead. Drunk driving kills people. I don't want my friends dead. Speeding kills people. I don't want my friends dead. But some of the other stuff just tic tac dumb. I mean, why am I got pulled over so many times. I had a red Mustang. I got pulled over so many times for absolutely nothing. I got pulled over 4 times for not wearing a seatbelt that I was wearing. Why? And I'd look at the cop, why are you pulling me over? I was getting rude with them. I still never got a ticket in my life, but but it's just, pulling people over for, cracked tail lights, a headlight out, that's just, it's dumb.
Scott Stevenson says DUI is premeditated crime. Taxis
100%
are
is.
cheap and designated drivers are free.
Yeah, and we got Uber here. We've got taxis. Funkmaster V owns Uptown Cabs. Funkmaster V's Uptown Cabs are renowned. It's a taxi service. He's the owner of it. His wife is probably who would be picking you up if you're ever in Sevier County. Don't drive drunk. Ride with the Funk. Funkmaster V's Uptown Cabs of renown. You like that commercial?
Yes, I did. I liked it very much. And you know what? The thing is, with this show, I also upload the audio to Anchor FM, and it goes up to 8 different places. So Funkmaster V now has will have his commercial all over the place.
Yeah, and said if his wife picks you up, she is a human Care Bear. She is the sweetest woman on the planet. I almost feel like my car's parked in town, and I'm like, I'm just gonna call Julie, get a ride, so I could see Julie for a while. Hi, Julie. She's just this. She is. She's a human without flaw. I think it's just one of the best people I've ever met. So, Uptown Cabs are renowned.
There we go. Uptown Cabs with Julie and Funkmaster V. Well, in my books, the wives always come first. Sorry.
No, and in his life is the wife comes first. She's the best. Yeah. Vinny would be nowhere without her.
Yeah, and I'm sure she is amazing, and that was probably the best decision he made in his life.
It 100% was.
Yes. And when people say that, like my husband will always tell me, you're crazy. Wait a minute, who's crazier, me or the one who married me?
Exactly.
So I may be crazy, but he's just totally nuts. There you go.
But that's the secret to relationships, though. Is you guys got to give each other some crap, and you got to forgive each other and love each other and play with each other and let each other do what the other one wants to do, and then that's love.
That's right. And he can tell me I've done something wrong and stupid, which is rare, or I can tell him the same thing, which is more often than not. But hey, I always win.
Yeah, I was married before to this woman that wouldn't let me do a thing. Like if it was this day and age where I'm out filming shows, filming movies, doing podcasts every week, she'd be, you're not spending any time with me. And then she'd want to go sit on the couch and watch TV. I was like, well, this isn't spending time. I'm not a sit on the couch, watch TV kind of guy,
Mm-hmm.
You gotta, that's my secret to everybody out there listening that doesn't have a relationship with a significant other right now is find your own space and give your partner space. Oh, space is beautiful. Let them do what they want to do. Chase their dreams, as dumb as it is.
Okay, sorry. I remind my wifey how lucky she is to have me regularly. I think the person in that relationship that is the very most lucky is you, because Scott has a wife and 3 beautiful daughters, so he's surrounded by love.
God, how could you handle 3 daughters? Oh, that's got to be a nightmare. I've got one, and I got to tell you, she's my favorite human being on the planet. My son obviously is very close. Yeah. He's my son. But my daughter is the best, but I couldn't imagine having 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, Scott has 3. and they love him madly.
I want to pass on some information since it popped in my head. He was
a bad man in previous life. That's funny.
A very wise man who had a son and a daughter, just like I do, gave me a words of wisdom that is held true to this day. And he said that he goes, "Look, your son, that's your pride and joy. That's little you. He's your pride and joy." He goes, "Your daughter, that's your heart and soul." And oh man, there's no truer words a man has ever said to me than that. Because my daughter she's my heart and soul. My son, he could fart, and I'd be like, "Yeah, Mikey, that was awesome."
Oh gosh, yeah. No, I believe every man should start their family out with a little girl in their life, because.
I was never one of those to think, of which one I wanted. Everybody's like, "What do you want, a boy or a girl?" I was like, I want it to be alive and breathing.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. And when she was born, it was hilarious. I had 2 kids that died at birth with my previous wife, Tommy and Jacob. And so I was really nervous about this. But man, I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there going, "I'm not going to look. That's gross. I'm not going to look." And then the nurse goes, "Look, she's got hair on her head." And so I just, I'm looking. I was like, "She does have hair on her head." Come back up to my wife. "She's got hair on her head." Get back down there. And then all of a sudden her face popped out. And then childbirth goes much quicker than people think. And that whole baby popped out. And she took a breath, and her cheeks just went. Big Luke passed out.
You were toast after that.
I felt so much love. I've never felt love like that before. I just said, I love that thing more than anything in the world, and I just hit the floor. And then I get up, and I didn't even look at my wife or the kid. I ran out of the hospital room and jumped onto my dad. And I'm 6'8". My dad's about 6 foot. And I jumped onto my dad in a hug, and I goes, "I got a baby girl. I got a baby girl. I got a baby girl. Lori wants a cheeseburger." And then I ran back in the room. So.
Well, my first child was a girl, and my husband has been toast ever since.
Oh God!
My eldest son just had a baby girl last August, and he was, and now he's like toast. It's like she can do no wrong.
Oh God!
Yeah.
And when you're a grown man and you're laying down on the ground, coloring Barbie, you're coloring books and playing with Barbies and getting your nails painted. There's nothing but, like, my daughter once painted my nails sparkly blue.
Oh, nice.
And I kept it for about 2 weeks, and people were like, "Man, what's wrong with you? Got your nails?" And I'm like, "I got a daughter," and then they're like, "Oh, all right, makes sense."
Oh yeah. You should get your daughter. When my daughter was little, I had curlers, because back in the day I used curlers, not hot iron, and her father would sit down on the floor while she would do his hair, and now he doesn't have as much hair left. I'm not sure it's because she pulled it out or he pulled it out doing it, but you got a lot of hair. She could have fun with.
Yeah, she's not touching my hair.
Come on, Dad, let her give it a braid.
She's nice, great though. She's an artist. She's a great artist. She's learning how to play guitar. She's a gamer. She loves her video games, but she likes like zombie games, and so I couldn't be more proud of that. And here's the thing: she's 15 years old, and she loves Pink Floyd. Oh man, nice. I'm so happy that she loves Pink Floyd. It's just because I grew up. Everybody was like Beatles or Elvis or the Rolling Stones. I was like, oh no, man, it's Pink Floyd, and then Elvis, because he's the king. But the fact that my daughter has got that deep of a soul, because people that don't like Pink Floyd, I'm like, I just don't think you get it, because you're probably not that deep of a person. But to be honest, I mean, if you can't listen to "Shine On You Crazy Diamond" for 45 minutes and go, figured out the secrets of life. Then
Okay.
then there's probably something wrong with you. You probably, you might have got crabs. I don't know. These things happen.
Crabs of the brain. Well, my darling, it has now been an hour and 15 minutes. So we've had fun.
Oh yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, I just have to go feed the hubby now. Otherwise, he might eat my dog.
Yeah,
No,
don't eat the dog.
no,
That's
because
how COVID gets started. You don't want to do that.
no, that was bats.
Ah,
We just batshit crazy in his house. We don't eat bats. Well, I thank you very much for joining me. And like I said, if there's anything that needs to be published and pushed, please let me know. I will. Angel Metals Radio will share it like mad.
all right. Well, let me throw the plugs out. ASY TV on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, and the plain old internet at asitv.com. If you sign up, it's a subscription because it's all independent shows. There's tons of independent shows. We do 3s, working on 4. Wrestling with Ghosts, It Happened to Me, Haunted Graves, and we're working on one called Big and Funky, the Big and Funky Show, which is going to be a comedy show. Please subscribe and use the promo code FUNKY, and then we actually get paid, which is nice. I like getting paid. And Big N Funky Productions, Big N, letter N, Funky Productions on YouTube. Give us a subscribe. We lost like thousands of subscriptions for some reason. They didn't unsubscribe, just YouTube removed them. So we got to get back up to 1,000 here. So please go subscribe, even if you don't want to listen to us or watch us, but you're going to want to. We're a rabbit hole you'll want to travel down. There's a lot of weird, avant-garde, funny stuff. You'll know what, hey, whoa, Weezy, you're too close to my Bobalones. You'll know what that means, and you're going to laugh your butt off.
Yep, heard it before. Well, thank you again very much, and I might get you come back again soon.
Anytime, and you should probably get Vinny on Funk Master B because he owns these things. I tend to stay a little more lucid. That guy is Funk Master B 24 hours a day. So
well, you tell Vinny that I have some openings in November, and he might be my birthday guest if I can track him down.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
There you go.
Look at you booked up through November. Good Lord, I'm not even booked up next week.
I'll get you there. All right, I love you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for hanging in, and we'll see you again next weekend.
Much love, y'all.